time, I would like to give each of the candidates a chance to make their opening remarks. And we'll start with Precinct 1. So if you would just please introduce yourself and give your opening statement. We'll begin with Marlene Durham.
I'm Marlene Durham. I just recently moved here in November. I'm looking for some way to help and to be a part of the community and to learn more about the community. I hope I can be a help and a benefit to the community. That's all I have to say at this time.
Bill McCombs.
Hi, I'm Bill McCombs. Family first. My wife Tamara, my daughter Morgan. We live over in Devonald, Precinct 1, and I hope to represent those folks. I moved into South Lake in 1990, and we bought a house a year later over on Devonald. We've enjoyed this community and watched it grow. I watched it grow from the Marine Corps aspect, as I passed through Quantico several times from commissioning on. I always had a friend in Montclair and always ended up in Montclair doing something fun with a lot of good people. I spent 20 years in the Marine Corps as a pilot, a maintenance officer, doing budgets and taking care of people and creating a community within the service. I spent 17 years at United Airlines doing basically the same thing. As a pilot, as a union official, doing budget, satisfying people's needs, communicating with constituents, and as a manager, taking care of 1,100 pilots and their concerns, and satisfying the requirements of our company. Here in the community, MPOA has always been fun to work with and for. Community events, Oktoberfest in particular, and Montclair Day, flipping burgers, having fun, a good sense of community. Has always brought a lot of people together. The 4th of July is, that's an attraction. Friends come to visit us from all over the United States just to watch our fireworks and play in the atmosphere that you've created here. I coach soccer, referee soccer. I'm active in our church council, the budget building. Montclair Seahawks, I ran the concessions for a couple of years for that outfit, and flipping 420 burgers in the sun is where that picture came from that I stuck in the newspaper. We do all kinds of stuff to encourage activities here in Montclair. I really pulled hard from back in the weeds to get that triathlon to work out. Kind of twisting arms. I knew the people that were sponsoring it. A couple of times I felt like giving up on Montclair because it's hard to arrange things like that. Montclair bent over backwards to get them in here. I appreciate that. It was a fun event. It brought a lot of community sense to Montclair and a lot of visibility. That was all over this end of the state. In Erie, there's 966 houses in Precinct 1. That's about 25% of Montclair, and I'd like to represent those people and sit on the board and help them continue the tradition of Montclair. Thanks.
Thank you. Mark Notar.
Good evening. My name is Mark Notar. I'm relatively new to the area. We just moved in 6 months ago. I have 2 children, 4 and 6, and one of the reasons we wanted to move to Montclair is because of the reputation it had for being a family neighborhood. So, you know, we used to live in a townhouse in Woodbridge. We moved to the area in 1998, and everybody that we talked to said Montclair is the place to be. Well, the reason why I want to run for the board is because I'm going to be a resident for a long time, probably the next 20 years. So I want to have some type of say in what goes on in the neighborhood. What we don't want to happen in this community is to lose that prestige rating. We don't want people to say, let's not move to Montclair. We want people to say, let's move to Montclair and keep those property values up so that when you move here, you can say, okay, well, this is an investment in not only a house, but in a family and a neighborhood and a community. So my goal of, if I am elected a board member, is to represent and ensure that Montclair stays the well-respected neighborhood it is in the southern Woodbridge area. Thank you.
And representing Precinct 2 is Mario Beckles.
Good evening. I'm Mario Beckles. What While looking for a home about 2 years ago, my wife and I drove around the various communities in the surrounding areas, and were a bit disappointed between what we saw from the online housing listings and the actual neighborhoods. While driving down Waterway, we noticed a street called, while driving down Cardinals Drive, we noticed a street called Waterway that seemed to be well maintained and headed down. Almost immediately we knew that this well-maintained community was what we were looking for. We promptly told our real estate agent to limit our home search just to the Montclair area. My family and I moved to Montclair from Fort McCoy, a small Army installation in west central Wisconsin, about 2 years ago. Prior to my tour of duty in Wisconsin, we lived in a non-homeowners association community called Eagles Crest in Madonna, Georgia. We had an unfortunate experience with the neighbors in this community who had little, if any, concern for the property and the overall quality of the community. We made a vow when we purchased our next home. We were insured to buy in a community with a strong homeowners association. We also plan to become active in that homeowners association. Even though our former community had no homeowners association, my wife and I organized our neighbors to petition local elected officials for much needed installation of street lights and sidewalks in common areas with success. Because of our neighborhood involvement, we became the unelected sounding board for residents on the community issues and how to approach officials since there wasn't any homeowners association. This experience taught us that residents working collectively can have an impact. I'm a father of 3 elementary school-age girls. Raising them in a safe, clean, friendly neighborhood where people care about the quality of community is the utmost importance to my wife and I. I know Montclair is that type of community, a community worth preserving. Good communities can lose their appeal without vigilance on the part of neighbors to conduct community affairs decently and in good order. I want to ensure that sense of discovery we had in the spring of 2000 is maintained. In my professional life, I have an active duty lieutenant colonel in the United States Army. I've served our nation over 27 years. While in the Army, I've served on numerous committees, process action teams to improve Army processes and quality of life for soldiers. I've been elected to serve in a governing body and also in my personal life at 2 different churches. I've also served on various church administrative committees. We're at the end of my military career. We plan to retire in this community once I finish up the service. We both have a strong interest in keeping this community in the same condition it was in the spring of 2007 when we first discovered Waterway Drive. Finally, I want to ensure that Montclair maintains its long-held reputation as a sought-after community within Northern Virginia while ensuring that current residents happily call this community home. I look forward to your questions.